All right, guys, welcome to the present segment. There's something presently taking place in our solar system that is one of the most momentous occasions in space exploration.
Yeah.
The James Webb Space Telescope.
JWST.
That's right.
I have never been so excited to watch somebody slowly unfold giant foil for weeks.
If you don't know what we're talking about, there is a telescope that is replacing the Hubble telescope, which in 1990 was launched and gave us a view out into the universe further than we'd ever seen, seeing things that we'd never seen before. And this telescope is going to allow us to see essentially the formation of stars and planets at the furthest distances of our universe.
Some of the oldest light in the universe. Like, so from the beginning of time.
Like, just, I forget what it is. They said the years. Like, it seems like a lot when you say whatever it is, but in the grand scheme of the universe, barely after the Big Bang.
We don't even know what we're going to see. That's the most exciting thing about this.
Yeah.
And the process has been anxiety-inducing for anybody involved in the project. You probably know a little bit about some of the hurdles that had to be jumped in order to even get this thing up in space.
It was like one of the most, I mean, probably, this is probably not an exaggeration, maybe the most elaborate engineering, complex engineering challenge in human history.
Oh, 100%,
The making of this telescope. It's a really weird looking thing. If you ever see a picture of it, it looks like this like kind of a diamond shaped thing with like it looks like a weird satellite or something. But it's actually huge. Like, you don't get a scale for it when it's out in space and stuff. Right. But it's like the size of a tennis court.
That's right, and it's a 21-foot large mirror. Yeah. But it's actually a series of 18 mirrors that make up essentially a 21-foot lens, if you will, to gather the light. And it's not just light that we know. It's on spectrums that we can't see, like even infrared light, which is one of the reasons why they're going to be able to see through different like atmospheric conditions in order to see so far out into space. Yeah,
so it was all compacted into, the top capsule of a rocket, launched into space, and that rocket put it on a trajectory to get way out beyond Earth's orbit. It's going like past the moon.
That's right.
Out and kind of into not into like deep space, but into sort of between the planets.
That's right. And it's what they say. It's in the L2 region, which means that it's like perfectly balanced between the sun's gravity and the Earth's gravity to keep it stable.
Perfectly stable, yeah.
But it's not like the Hubble telescope is orbiting. It's orbiting Earth. This is not going to be orbiting.
Right.
It's just hanging out there.
Yeah.
Well, and still, the Hubble telescope is in low Earth orbit. So does it have any atmosphere to go through or anything like that? Maybe ambient light
a little
or
bit,
something.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the point of getting it far away was just to get away from everything from Earth that was clogging up our view.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's out there in the middle of space, but it's still
a million miles.
A million miles. So this rocket had to launch it, generally toward that direction, and then they have like little thrusters on it that can kind of correct it to get it to the perfect spot way out there. And I read recently that the rocket that sent it out to its spot, the rocket sent it so perfectly on the way out there that it didn't have to use nearly as much fuel as they estimated to correct.
Nominal, as they say.
Yeah. So they estimated that if they would have had had to use a lot more fuel to kind of correct the course of it, they might get like 10 years use out of this telescope. But because the rocket launch was like so precise on sending it to its spot, they're going to probably get like 20 years out of it.
Whoa.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
That was going to be my follow-up question. It's like, what are we going to do with that extra fuel?
Oh, yeah. You get more years.
And the other cool thing about it is like the unfolding process of these mirrors, which are hexagonal.
Hexagonal.
Hexagonal? Is it agonal or agonal?
I always say agonal.
Let's just say hexes.
Yeah.
They had to unfold exactly right. And here's the scariest thing about it. If anything went wrong, and this is still the case, if anything does go wrong, like it's so far out there, we can't send anybody out there to fix it.
Yeah, they said there's like very minimal like repairs or fixes they can do.
Right. Even in the space shuttle days, when the Hubble had some problems, when there was Hubble trouble, you might say.
Hubble trouble, yeah.
They sent just a guy out there to spacewalk and like just take some wrenches and stuff and
just space wrench,
just tighten the bolts, whatever.
Space bolts.
Yeah,
that's right.
Now it's way out there. You can't.
Well, they actually had to replace the entire lens on the Hubble. You knew that, right? It was off by like the size of a human hair, and everything was blurry. So they had to make a new, I don't know if it's a lens or a mirror, and take it up there and replace it.
It's wild.
And the fascinating thing about that story is that nobody knew. Like they just when they sent it up, they're like, "This is what space looks like," and then they fixed. Somebody's like, "No, that's off. Let's fix it." And they fix it, and they're like, "Holy jeez!"
There's a couple other things about it that are going to indefinitely make NASA scientists nervous. One of them being the Hubble telescope has all these like little craters and dimples on it from cosmic dust that when it hits it, it actually can cause like penetration of metal and stuff like that. And they're saying that there's nothing to protect James Webb from anything like that, and it's probably going to get hit, but they're hoping it doesn't get hit with anything big, which is really improbable. Yeah. And that at the very least, it might make certain parts of the images blurry, but for the most part, they'll still get a crystal clear look.
It's fascinating to see how it was designed and how it like we said, it was all compacted into this rocket. And it has to slowly unfold on its way out there, like a series of steps, and it has this big sun shield on it because the actual camera part is really sensitive.
Right.
And the sun side of things is very hot. So like with the sunlight, and even though it's way out in space, it's just really hot getting hit with direct sunlight. So it has to have this big sun shield.
It's like hundreds of degrees difference in temperature between the back of it and the camera side.
Right.
Of it. And from what I understand, the timing of all this, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's supposed to stabilize within the next couple months. And then it's going to take another 3 months to just calibrate the mirrors and everything like that. And then by the time they start receiving information in June of 2022, they still will need another month of processing. So we should start seeing images, if everything goes right, from the James Webb Telescope by July of 2022.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too, like late summer. Yeah. Have we talked about it on the podcast, or maybe just like off cast? But there's the one thing that's like super exciting to me is the story from the Hubble where like they just would aim it at different like nebulas and galaxies and take pictures of them and stuff, and like, whoa, these are really cool. And you get those really cool like
the Hand of God picture and the Alpha Centauri, whatever it is, where you've got like these
colorful
columns.
gases. But then the one time when they were like, you know what, let's just aim it at this dark spot in the sky. See what you know about this one?
I don't.
So like there's astronomers like found this one little the night sky, like everything, there's billions of stars, but there's one little tiny spot where it's maybe the size of like a pencil eraser if you hold it up at the end of an arm.
It's pretty small.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's some really small little area, looked totally black. They couldn't see anything. They point the Hubble at it and take a picture, and it's full of galaxies.
No kidding.
Full of galaxies.
All right, you ready?
That's unbelievable.
You ready to have your mind blown, Jeff?
I think I have seen a picture where there's like all these little swirly things. I didn't know it was like pointed at a dark part of the sky though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen that picture.
Every one of those. It's so high res too. That was my wallpaper for the longest time.
And if that's from the Hubble, who knows what could happen with the James Webb. So
what do you think we're gonna see?
Aliens.
You think we're gonna see aliens?
I think we're gonna see a guy going, oh,
hiding behind the space curtain.
We're gonna see God getting out of the shower, having weird thoughts. I'm gonna make Earth.
Yeah, having shower thoughts.
Yeah, God having shower thoughts. He's like, let's make a planet full of little me's.
It's a security camera.
Are we gonna make him peaceful? Nah, let's make him not know how to stop the end of the world.